just like seeing her for the first time.
Lu Wang noticed that every time he went through the motions of training, he could feel the power surging through his body. The breathing techniques he practiced were the same ones the zombies had learned when they were still alive. As he moved and shaped his hands into the form of an electric ball, his stomach suddenly rumbled with hunger. At the side, Lu Shang's face began to transform strangely, wrinkling like that of an old man. Moments later, drool slipped down his lips, and even his teeth seemed to fall out. "Oh boy," someone joked. "Somebody please give him a pair of dentures." But the light moment passed, and the focus returned to Lu Wang. He realized something troubling. His energy consumption couldn't keep up. The training was forcing his body to grow at an unnatural rate. Regular food was no longer enough to supply the nutrients he needed. What his body required now were special pills, the kind that enhanced recovery and growth. Yet, with his family's poor status, he couldn't afford those pills. If this continued, his growth would slow down dramatically. Determined not to waste his potential, Lu Wang made a decision. He would start earning money on his own. At his school, there was a clear opportunity. The reward system gave out points and resources for performance. For first-grade honors, the reward was especially high. To achieve that, Lu Wang would need to demonstrate his talents in the sports gym, in the locker room before training. Li Kim-ming approached him. "It's been a while since we had a practical combat lesson," he said casually. As Lu Wang changed clothes, Lu Kim-ming noticed his body. His eyes widened. How is that possible? He thought. He achieved such a muscular body in just a few days. Lu Wang only shrugged and explained that he had been working out. He also mentioned his hair had been growing longer, and he planned to trim it when he had time. Kim-ming smirked, drawing his own conclusion. "So, you're working hard just to get the girl's attention." Lu Wang looked at him calmly. "I'm not like you." The two left the locker room and headed to the gym. Inside, the students were already gathered. At the center of the group stood their practical combat instructor Zhang Zhenguo. He wore a gray jacket mixed with light blue, his arms marked with scars from past battles. Kim-ming leaned in and whispered to Lu Wang, "He's a rank martial artist. Those scars, he got them on the battlefield while facing the beasts." Zhang's presence carried authority. He addressed the class. "Today, we will review the basic combat techniques you have learned in class." Lu Wang studied him carefully. To his surprise, Zhang's movements felt simple and unrefined. Compared to the advanced knowledge Lu Wang had absorbed from his dream, the instructor's techniques seemed lacking. After demonstrating the basics, Zhang called forward one student, Yang Yai. As Yang Yai stepped forward, several female students gasped, whispering in admiration, "He's so handsome, and the strongest in our class." Liu Kaming frowned. He hated how Yang Yai always stole the spotlight. He knew Yai came from a wealthy background, handsome, rich, and supplied with the best pills. His health status was already close to perfection. Of course, the teacher favors him. Kaming muttered under his breath. Lu Wang silently agreed with his friend's frustration. At least, he would have agreed before, but now, with his newfound ability, he was prepared to grasp everything with his own hands. Zhang commended Yang Yai after his demonstration. "Good, but your balance still needs correction. Next time, I'll teach you how to improve that." Yang Yai smiled politely. "Thank you, teacher," but inwardly he disagreed. Belittling Zhang for his low-ranked martial arts, compared to his own family's teachings, Zhang then addressed the class. "Now, who among you is willing to spar with Yang Yai?" The room fell silent. Every student knew how capable Yang Yai was. No one dared to step forward. Zhang sighed. He knew this pattern too well. The school could only teach them the basics. Once they joined the military, only a handful would truly walk the martial path. He also knew some students whispered behind his back, accusing him of favoritism. As these thoughts passed through his mind, his eyes fell on one student, Wang. There was something in Lu Wang's gaze. Those eyes, they belonged to someone who had endured arduous training. "You stand up and come forward." Zhang pointed directly at him. Li Keming panicked. Luang, don't. Back off. We've got exams coming up. You don't need this. But Luang shook his head, confident. I've trained hard. There's nothing to worry about. Jang gave his instructions. You have 5 minutes to spar. Always remember safety first. Do not forget my teachings. The signal was given. Luang and Yang Yai faced each other. Yang Yai smirked. What's your health status? The last time you were tested, it was only 12, wasn't it? Yes, 12, Luang replied calmly. The instructor's eyes narrowed. Such a low status. Could he really hold his ground? Yang Yai sneered and gave a mocking warning. If you fall, don't use your arms to stop yourself. You'll just break your bones. Protect your vitals, especially your head. Thank you for the advice, Luang said steadily. I'm ready. Yang Yai launched forward in an instant, his fist wrapped in a yellow and black aura. Gasps filled the room as the students witnessed the power behind his attack. Inside, Yang Yai was already celebrating. A pushover like Luang deserves embarrassment. Victory belongs to the strongest, like me. But his smirk faltered. His fist cut only through empty air. Luang had dodged. In that moment, Luang's eyes turned white, and a faint blue aura began to radiate around him. His fist gathered power, like wind swirling into a storm. He struck forward fast, precise, unstoppable. Crack! His punch connected directly with Yang Yai's face. A burst of blue energy exploded outward, bouncing the arrogant student back. Smoke rose from his skin like a burning cigarette. The entire class froze in disbelief. One punch, someone whispered. Their strongest classmate knocked out instantly, instructor. Jang rushed forward to check Yang Yai's condition. The others turned their stunned gazes toward Luang. He stood there, still in shock himself. He had not expected his punch to end the fight so decisively. Even he was surprised that Yang Yai had been defeated with a single blow. As the teacher still held the unconscious Yang Yai in his arms, the classroom was filled with silence. Every student remained frozen, their eyes wide in disbelief. None of them could fully comprehend what had just happened. Wang had defeated Yang Yai with a single punch. The weight of that moment pressed down on the room like a suffocating blanket. Their instructor's voice suddenly broke the silence, sharp and commanding. He shouted at the students, ordering them to call the teacher from the nurse's office. Immediately, the urgency in his tone snapped a few students out of their shock, and they rushed to obey. Within moments, the nurse arrived, pushing a stretcher through the doorway. The room was tense as they carefully placed the unconscious Yang Yai onto it. The students exchanged uneasy glances, still whispering under their breath. Unable to process how Luang, they thought of as unremarkable, could have accomplished something so absurd. Luang, still shaken himself, turned toward his teacher. With a deep bow of respect, he apologized. I'm sorry, teacher. I couldn't control my strength. His teacher, Jang, stared at him with fierce eyes, his expression unreadable. Then, after a pause, he placed a firm hand on Luang. Shoulder injuries are inevitable during combat, Jang said with a steady voice. Do not burden yourself with guilt. Yang Yai's injury is not severe. He will recover. What matters now is you. Luang lowered his head, both relieved and troubled at the same time. Come with me to the office. Jang continued, his tone heavy with authority. Before leaving, Luang turned to Lu Kaming. Please, help me inform our next teacher, he requested quietly. Lu Kaming, however, remained frozen in place. His thoughts raced wildly as he stared at Luang's back. How is this possible, he thought. Yang Yai's health status was far superior, yet Luang defeated him with a single punch. Is he really the same Luang I used to know? The weight of confusion and disbelief hung in his chest, leaving him unable to respond. As Jang opened the door to his office, Luang stepped inside cautiously. The room smelled faintly of wood and tea, its atmosphere calm compared to the chaos left behind. In the classroom, his eyes immediately caught sight of a beautifully cared-for bonsai on the desk. Luang blinked in surprise, almost forgetting where he was for a moment. You like bonsai, teacher? He asked, unable to hide his astonishment. Jang chuckled, his sternness softening for an instant. "It's just a small hobby of mine," he replied lightly. Then his eyes glowed with a strange intensity. "Besides, everyone has their own secrets. Don't you agree?" Luong stiffened slightly at the question. Sensing the underlying weight behind his teacher's words, Zhang leaned forward, his gaze sharp. "You only have a health status of, and yet you managed to defeat Yang Yai with one punch. How do you explain that?" Luang's lips tightened. "Teacher, those health status results were taken a while ago," he explained cautiously, but Jang's suspicion deepened. His voice dropped into a warning tone. "Are you using some kind of drug to forcibly increase your health status? You know very well that consuming such things is strictly prohibited in this school." Luong's eyes widened in shock. "No, teacher. I swear, I've never touched any illegal drugs." "Then prove it," Zhang pressed. "If you're telling the truth, we'll assess your health status again. If you had been using anything unnatural, your vitality would fluctuate wildly. But if the results are consistent, then your ability is real." Luang took a deep breath, then nodded firmly. "All right, let's do it." He placed his hand on the glowing orb at the center of the office. The sphere pulsed with light, sparks dancing across its surface as it absorbed Luong's energy. A shimmering glow filled the room. When the result appeared, Zhang's eyes nearly burst from his sockets. His jaw dropped open. "Impossible," he whispered. The reading confirmed Luong's health status had soared to levels beyond expectation. He was now a rank 1 martial artist, despite being only a student. Zhang staggered back, overwhelmed. In all of White Lake City, no one at Luong's age had ever achieved such a feat. For a long moment, he simply stared at the boy, the realization settling heavily on his shoulders. This is genius-level talent," Zhang muttered, his voice trembling. Luang shifted uneasily, scratching his neck. He hadn't meant for things to unfold this way, but Zhang's thoughts spiraled further when he remembered what had just happened in the classroom. That punch. He destroyed the combat test subject in one strike. His eyes darted to the corner of the office where the broken training dummy lay in ruins. Once, it had been able to withstand the full attack of an official martial artist. Now it looked like a pathetic heap, its head barely intact. Tears welled in Zhang's eyes as he held on to his beloved bonsai for comfort. He began crying like a child, unable to believe that his precious test model, his pride, had been destroyed. So easily Luang awkwardly picked up the broken head of the dummy, holding it like a guilty child. "Teacher, I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose." Zhang continued to sob, clutching his bonsai. "That test model could withstand the attack of an official martial artist, and you destroyed it with a single punch." At that moment, the truth was undeniable. Wang had already surpassed the limits of a rank 1 martial artist. When Zhang finally calmed down, he asked with a strained voice, "Luong, when was the last time you tested your health status?" "Almost half a month ago," Luang admitted. Zhang froze again, his astonishment renewing. Half a month, and this boy had already surpassed ranks that took men decades of grueling effort to achieve. He asked carefully, "Do you have a master? Or are you perhaps the descendant of a noble clan?" Luong shook his head firmly. "No, I come from an ordinary family, and I have no master. As for why my health status is increasing so quickly..." He paused, lowering his gaze. "That is my secret." Jang leaned back in his chair, still speechless. Surpassing a rank 1 martial artist at this age, this shouldn't even be possible. He thought back to his own youth. Even after years of hardship, military service, and countless battles, he had only reached rank 2 in the end. On the battlefield, he had learned the bitter truth. Humans were small and fragile compared to the monsters they faced. The only ones who could fight monsters were those rare individuals who were, in essence, monsters themselves, and Luong was one of them. Zhang straightened, his tone solemn yet hopeful. "Luang. With your current results, you are more than qualified to join the school's gifted class. There you'll be guided by the best teachers we have." But Luang shook his head, his voice steady. "No, teacher. I want to stay in my current class." Zhang frowned. "You don't understand. The guidance we can provide in the gifted class Teacher. Lu Wang interrupted politely. I only ask for one thing. Please allow me to apply for a martial arts scholarship. And I hope the school will give me a more flexible schedule. Zhang studied him for a long moment. Then, as he read through the student request Lu Wang had written, he realized the truth. This boy wasn't being arrogant. He was struggling. Lu Wang lacked financial support and free time. That was why he couldn't accept the gifted class. Softening, Zhang nodded. I will submit your application for a special scholarship. It will grant you financial assistance, $100,000. He reached into his desk and pulled out his sleek, black martial arts card. This card already has $50,000 loaded. Take it. Lu Wang's eyes widened, his hands trembling slightly as he accepted it. Thank you, teacher. Keep up your excellent work, Zhang said, with rare warmth. The school will stand behind you. As soon as Lu Wang left the office and the door closed behind him, Jang's composure shattered. He could barely contain his excitement. His heart pounded in his chest. This boy, he muttered, pacing the office. After so many years, we've finally found him. Someone who can reach that place. His eyes gleamed with determination. Lu Wang would remain their secret weapon until the national examination. No other school could know. For now, White Lake. School held the strongest card of all. But as he whispered to himself, a chilling curiosity stirred in his chest. That place. Yes, that strange place. What is it really? Even I don't know.